Okay, so this video is going to be focused on all the figures that were made for the Jabba the Hutt scene for Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. We're just going to focus on the figures that premiered on Return of the Jedi cards. So these came out in 83, 84. There were more figures for Jabba that came out on the Power of the Force cards, but this video is just going to focus on the ones that came out on Return of the Jedi cards, which is what you're looking at right there. And some of these are from my childhood. Some of them I've acquired as an adult. I pulled out 2 of each on most of them so I could show you some different variants. And we're just going to go over all of these and show you Kenner's first line of figures for Jabba the Hutt. So Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight outfit. I always thought this was one of the coolest figures Kenner ever made. I still do. What I like about it now is so many different variants here. You can see the green lightsaber, the blue lightsaber. This cape has a snap for it. The other ones like this one are sewn. If you look at this Luke Skywalker here, his face is molded plastic and the hair is painted. This one's the other way. The face is painted, the hair is molded. This one was made by Top Toys in Argentina for the Argentinian market. And these are interesting because, a little bit poor, not quite as good a quality. And also, when Top Toys made their figures, instead of using Kenner's molds, they just took Kenner figures and made molds out of from the figures. So their figures are a little bit smaller than the Kenners and no footholds. So that's just one of the cool figures that they made for the Jabba the Hutt palace scene. Luke, like I said, he was made by Lily Leedy also. This one's Top Toys, and very cool figure. He goes for a decent amount of money, especially the blue lightsaber. Those tend to go for a good amount of money if they're complete and near mint. So that's Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight outfit. This was one of my favorite figures when I was a kid. This is Princess Leia in Bausch disguise, and comes with a removable helmet there. So the one here on the right is made in Taiwan. The one on the left made in Hong Kong. And if you look at the paint, the brown is darker and glossier on the Taiwan. It's matte and light brown and matte finish on the Hong Kong. The plastics are shinier and a little bit different shades. So, and I'll take off the helmet here. It's just a rubber helmet that they have. And even a difference in the plastic used for the face. So different factories made them differently from each other, and then the factories also had different variants. One factory would make a few different versions of the figure based on what paint they had handy at the time or what plastic they were using. But you can see definitely differences. I can't talk today. Definitely some differences in the paint. So that's another really awesome figure, Princess Leia in Bausch disguise. All right, this is Lando Calrissian in Skiff Guard disguise. And the 2 examples we're looking at here, this one made in Hong Kong for the US market. This one was made by Lily Leedy in Mexico for the Mexican market. Big differences here. You can see the color of his skin. The plastic is darker brown on the Leedy than on the Kenner. The eye paint is different. The plastic is glossier on the Leedy. A little bit different colors there. And there's a Lily Leedy country of origin or no country of origin stamp. That's the date stamp. And here is the made in Hong Kong. There it is, the HK. So that's another really awesome figure they made. You can get him in a lot of different variants too. These are just 2, but the Leedy one is one of my favorite figures. So that's Lando Calrissian Skiff Guard disguise. So one of my favorite Star Wars figures of all time has always been Gamora Guard. When I was a kid, I had three. I still have all three of them. The two in front of us here are just examples from different factories. The one on the left here is Smile HK, Hong Kong. The one on the right is Smile Factory, No Country of Origin. And looking here, you can see the armor different. You know, that's that dark gray, almost charcoal color. That one's silver. Really bright green plastic and a dark green plastic here. A lot of different variants for Gamora Guard. I have a few videos on my Gamora Guard focus because I have around, I don't know, 7 or 8 figures from each factory mold. So I have almost 50 Gamora Guards, so he's definitely one of my favorites. But there you get a good look at just how differently he was made too. And these were actually the same factory that made these. They were just same company, different factories. One was in Hong Kong. The No COO one was probably Macau, but I'm not 100% sure. But one of the greatest figures Kenner ever made. And he was so different from the rest. He was much bigger. Later on, Kenner, when they made action figures for the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves movie, when they did Friar Tuck, they just took this Gamora Guard body and put a different head on it, and of course made it flesh color. But this is the original. This is the Gamora Guard, and just a super cool figure with a lot of great variants. All right, so next we have Nikto, and he was a pretty cool figure that they made. These two examples, we have one here is a Lily Lady, made in Mexico for the Mexican market, and this is made in Hong Kong by Kenner for the US market. The lady you can see is darker plastic, it's darker paint. The chest plate is darker and it's matte rather than glossy like the Kenner. Different darker face paint. The helmets are different colors. So if you look at the helmets here, the hands are painted differently. So Lady, it's got pretty much the same country of origin stamp, but Lady did theirs in different colors overall. So that's Nikto. He's got some cool variants, the Lily Lady and the Kenner. All right, so CLAT II, another cool figure. I always thought it looked like he was wearing a diaper. Here you can see different color green. This one might be molded green, I'm not sure. I think some of them had molded green plastic, or this one's definitely molded green with a painted helmet, I'm sorry. This one I think might be painted green and molded silver, but I'm not 100% sure. There's zero paint loss to that, so it's hard to tell without paint loss sometimes what's painted and what's molded, at least with this figure. But you can see different colors in his little skirt thing. This one here is actually the one I've had since I was a little kid. So I've had it for, what, since 1983 probably, 83, 84. But really cool figure with some cool variants to him. You can see a little bit different paint on the back too. But that's CLAT II in his regular outfit. And next we'll do CLAT II in his skiff disguise. And here's CLAT II in his skiff guard outfit. The one on the left is Kenner USA. The one on the right, Lily Lady Mexico. And the Lady one might have faded a little bit, but it's a little darker paint on the face, as you can see. And the hands are a little bit, the boots, a little bit different colors. The brown here, Lady is a little bit brighter than the Kenner. So some interesting variations in the way it was painted and the plastics that they used. Even on the back, you can see the Kenner with the darker brown compared to Lady. And with Lady, the back of the little helmet thing, or his head piece, whatever this is not painted here, where it's painted on the Kenner one. So pretty cool differences in these. So that's CLAT II in his skiff guard outfit. All right, next is the Rancor Keeper. This was the guy who was in charge of the big Rancor monster. The one here on the right is Lily Lady, made in Mexico. The one on the left is Kenner, made in Taiwan. Again, you can see differences in the paint on the clothing Even the faces, you know, this one, the Kenner one is a little more flesh face. The lady has faded a little bit up, like on his chest here. Different paint though on the little, I don't know what that is, belt thing. You see the back, and so it's interesting, you know. So like I said, some of the factories, the same factory has different variants, and certainly when they're made in different factories, you can usually tell the difference. Leedy's a lot glossier than the Kenner one too. So that's the Rancor Keeper. Another pretty cool figure. All right, so now we're getting into some of the figures that I always thought had stupid names, and Squid Head is definitely one of them. You know, when I was a kid, I always assumed Kenner came up with these names, but I'm sure it was Lucasfilm. But you know, Squid Head, you know, they did Walrus Man and stupid names, and there's a few more of them here, but at any rate, he's a pretty cool figure. And the one on the left, it's bare bones. I don't have his weapon or his capes. That's a Lily Ledy from Mexico. And you can see the eyes are done a little bit different. It's got some interesting differences. You can see the hand paint is a little bit darker on the Kenner. The lady one, some of these came with a burgundy, like a darker cape that goes, they sell for a few $100s usually. This one's just bare bones. I just wanted a Lily Ledy one. I didn't want to spend a ton of money on it. But one of the figures, cool figure, stupid name. That's Squid Head. So here's another really cool figure with a really stupid name. This is Prune Face. And the one on the right here is Lily Ledy from Mexico. This is a Kenner. And it's kind of hard to tell. One thing that I did not like when Kenner did was these big, bulky cloth capes. And you can see a little bit differences in the green. The Kenner green pants are a little bit darker. Ledy's a little glossier. You can see the boots, different colors too. But these capes, you know, you can't see anything in the figure. All you see is a big cape, you know, especially when you want a mint on card figure. I have a Prune Face that looks pretty good, but a lot of them, this will be covering their whole face. You can't even see their face in the card. And when it comes to setting them up on the display in my cabinet, these capes, they block everything behind them and they get snagged on stuff when you're trying to pick them up. So as a collector, I don't like the cloth capes, but you know, I like the way the figures look when they're complete. So the Ledy one, I don't have any accessories for because I got it cheap. I just wanted a Ledy version of it. But that's Prune Face, stupid name and all. Okay, and next is Weegway. And I have a few of these guys. I don't haven't done a ton of research on the different factories he was made in. But here, this one has no country of origin. This one says HK. And you can see the differences in the brown paint, the heads, the hands are a little bit different. Boots are a little bit different color plastics for the pants. Turn them around here. And there you can see the back too. So different factories here, different country of origin stamps. A little bit different brown on the back too. But some cool variants for Weegway are out there. And I have a few of them here. So that's Weegway. All right, so this is 8D8. And these have the same country of origin stamp, where it's no country of origin. They just say LFL 1983. But if you look at the brown paint, it's definitely lighter on this one, and the silver paint is lighter on this one than it is over here. So even on these two figures here, you see some variations in the paint. 8D8, he was one of the droids that was down there with C-3PO and R2-D2 and with all the other droids. So that's 8D8. All right, so here's REO's. Another pretty cool looking figure. The one on the left is Lily Ledy from Mexico. The one on the right is Kenner. And Ledy, of course, you can see it's much more of a pink look than Kenner. Kenner has more of a maroon suit for him, where Ledy's brown. Kenner's greenish boots are a little bit different colors. So definitely pretty big differences in these two. Just give you a look at the back here. I like how different the colors are on the clothes. So Reuse is, I don't know, he's another one. I haven't done a whole lot of research on the different factories that made him, other than I can tell you that's Lily Leedy on the left. But a very cool figure. And he was, most of these figures, you know, they were only in the background of the Jabba scene for a couple of seconds. And I don't think any of them had any lines, but I always thought he was a cool looking figure. So that's Reuse. All right, so Bib Fortuna, he was a pretty important character in the film. He's Jabba's little assistant. He had some really good foreign lines in the film, but he had some good lines. These are both made in Taiwan, a little bit different shades of brown on the cloak and plastic on the head, but both of these are Taiwan. But he's a cool figure. He was one of the first, he was released in the first wave of Return of the Jedi figures. And I remember getting him right away when he first came out in the stores. So that's Bib Fortuna. Very cool figure that Kenner made. There you go. Okay, so this is the Max REO Band set. And these guys didn't come out on a regular card back. They came out packaged all together. Sometimes they were in a box, sometimes they were in a card with a big window on the front, but they weren't released on card backs with, you know, collect all 92 figures. They did come out on Return of the Jedi packaging, but they're pretty cool figures. This guy comes out, and it's common to see him really faded, almost looking gray. This one's still mostly blue, but there are a lot of blue ones out there, but a lot of them will look gray. They just fade over time. These are other ones where I just thought Kenner came up with, or not Kenner, I'm sorry, Lucasfilm came up with some really stupid names. Max REO, whatever, that one isn't as bad. Sice Noodles was a female, but this one is called Droopy McCool, and I didn't have these when I was a kid, but I always thought that was the dumbest name I'd ever heard Lucasfilm come up with, and I still do. Very cool figures, but Droopy McCool, come on Lucasfilm, that's a stupid name. But that's the Max REO Band set from Jabba's Palace. All right, here we have the real star of the Jabba scene. This is the Rancor, and I have a Jedi Luke in his hand. Those snowtrooper legs sticking out are ones that I found when I was a kid, actually. Empire Strikes Back was still the new movie, and I was walking home from a friend's house across Union Avenue in Stager, Illinois, and the arms and legs of that snowtrooper were just laying on the ground. I never did find the torso, but I kept the arms and legs and thought they'd look cool in there. But he was a massive figure. He wasn't, again, obviously he wasn't released on a regular card back. He was in a box. He was special, you know, he was a creature. And he even has a little lever here that will do just that. It makes his mouth open. And that's the Rancor. Very cool, big figure. I didn't have him when I was a kid. I got this as an adult, but you get a good look at his face there. And that's the unfortunate Luke. So that is the Rancor. Very, very cool Star Wars figure. And of course, last but not least is Jabba himself. This example is the one that I've had since I was a kid in 1983. And he was just so awesome. Great play set. Came with everything you see here. The Salacious Crumb figure only came with Jabba. And, it came with this little hook. They never did make a slave Leia, but they made the chain for the hookah bowl, the pipe, and Jabba himself. Take him down, and I'll show you these things. Lift up there. I have a couple of extra bagged items in there, and that's how you could open this up. So the Jabba playset was super cool. I remember when I was a kid, I wanted it for Christmas, and I got it, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. Still do. And it sits proudly in my display. So that's Jabba the Hutt, and one of the iconic Star Wars characters, even though he died pretty early on in the film, but great character and a great toy. So that's Jabba the Hutt. All right, thanks for watching, and hopefully you learned something interesting here. If you like this, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and go ahead and check out some more of my videos, and I'll be making some more again soon. Thanks a lot.